They fear what they cannot understand, and they respect what they cannot control. 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli wrote the blueprint for power. Not the kind of power that screams, but the kind that whispers. The kind that moves mountains while others move their mouths. Your boss doesn't respect you because you're competent. Competence is expected. Your boss respects you because you understand something most people never will. That power is not taken. It's recognized. Today, you will learn 14 rules that separate the influencers from the influenced, the manipulators from the manipulated, the ones who shape reality from those who simply inhabit it. Rule 1, speak last, speak less. Everyone talks, few listen, fewer still. Understand the power of strategic silence. When your boss speaks in meetings, you don't immediately respond. You absorb, you calculate. You let others fill the void with their anxieties, their desperate need to be heard. Because here's what Machiavelli knew. The person who speaks last controls the narrative. They've heard every angle, every weakness, every opportunity. They don't react, they respond. Watch how the room changes when you implement this. Others rush to fill your silence with their thoughts, their fears, their secrets. And you collect them all. Speak last, speak less, speak with purpose. Rule 2, make yourself necessary, then invisible. Visibility is vulnerability. Necessity is power. Your goal isn't to be the loudest voice in the room, it's to be the voice the room cannot function without. You become the bridge between departments that hate each other. The translator between executives who speak different languages of ambition. You solve problems before they become crises. You provide solutions before others even recognize the problems. But here's the crucial part. Once you've made yourself indispensable, you begin to operate from the shadows. You influence decisions without sitting in the decision-making chair. You shape outcomes without your fingerprints on the results. Because the moment people see your strings, they'll try to cut them. Rule 3, never threaten. Let them imagine. A threat reveals your intentions. Fear reveals theirs. Weak people make threats because they lack the tools to create genuine consequences. Strong people create environments where others threaten themselves with their own imagination. You don't tell your boss what will happen if they don't listen to you. You simply present realities, market conditions, competitive landscapes, inevitable outcomes. Let them connect the dots. Let them realize that ignoring your counsel isn't just unwise, it's dangerous. Not because you made it dangerous, because reality made it dangerous. You just happened to see it coming. The most powerful weapon isn't the sword you draw, it's the sword others imagine you possess. Rule 4. Control information, control outcomes. Information is the currency of power, and you will become the bank. Your boss makes decisions based on information. But who controls what information they receive? Who shapes how it's presented? Who determines the context, the timing, the emphasis? You don't lie. Lying is for amateurs. You curate. You contextualize. You illuminate certain truths while allowing others to remain in shadow. When you present market research, you don't just show numbers. You show the story the numbers tell. When you report on team performance, you don't just list metrics. You reveal patterns, implications, trajectories. You become their lens through which they see reality. And whoever controls the lens controls the image. Rule 5. Embrace the paradox of loyalty and independence. Loyalty without independence is servitude. Independence without loyalty is betrayal. Master both. You demonstrate unwavering loyalty to your boss's success. Not their comfort, not their ego, their actual success. Sometimes these are the same thing. Often they are not. When your boss is about to make a mistake that will damage their position, you don't remain silent to avoid discomfort. You speak truth that serves their long-term interests, even if it challenges their short-term preferences. This is the paradox that separates advisors from employees. Employees tell bosses what they want to hear. Advisors tell bosses what they need to know. Your independence makes your loyalty valuable. Your loyalty makes your independence trustworthy. Rule 6. Create systems, not dependencies. Personal power dies with the person. Systemic power outlives its creator. Don't make yourself indispensable by being the only one who can do something. Make yourself indispensable by being the one who builds the systems that everyone else depends on. You don't just excel at project management. You create the project management protocols that the entire department adopts. You don't just have great client relationships. You develop the client relationship framework that becomes company standard. Because when you create the system, you control the system. Even when others operate within it, they're operating within your design, your logic, your vision of how things should work. Become the architect, not just the builder. Rule 7. Master the art of strategic vulnerability. Strength that never shows vulnerability is fragile. Vulnerability that serves strategy is invincible. You don't pretend to know everything. You admit when you need additional information to give the best counsel. You acknowledge when market conditions are beyond anyone's complete control. But, and this is crucial, your vulnerability is always purposeful. You reveal uncertainty about things that don't matter to demonstrate certainty about things that do. When you say, "I don't know" about peripheral issues, your boss learns to trust when you say, "I'm certain" about critical ones. Your selective uncertainty makes your confidence credible. Strategic vulnerability isn't weakness revealed, it's strength authenticated. Rule 8. Influence, perception, control, reality. Reality is what people believe to be true. Perception shapes belief. Therefore, perception shapes reality. Your boss's perception of your competence matters more than your actual competence. Their perception of your loyalty matters more than your actual loyalty. Their perception of your judgment matters more than your actual judgment. This isn't about deception. It's about presentation. It's about understanding that human beings are perception-driven creatures who make decisions based on how things appear, not just how things are. You manage not just your performance, but the perception of your performance. You deliver not just results, but the interpretation of those results. You create not just value, but the recognition of that value, because unrecognized value isn't valuable. Rule 9. Collect allies, never create enemies. Enemies consume energy. Allies multiply it. You never win by defeating someone in your workplace. You win by making it unnecessary to defeat them. You transform potential opponents into reluctant allies through strategic benefit. When someone disagrees with your approach, you don't argue. You find the part of their position that has merit and build upon it. You make them co-creators of the solution rather than opponents of your proposal. Because every enemy you create gives your boss a choice between you and them. Every ally you collect makes choosing you easier. The goal isn't to be right. The goal is to be effective. And effectiveness often requires making others feel right while guiding them toward correct conclusions. Rule 10. Time your moves like a master. Timing transforms good ideas into great opportunities, and great opportunities into inevitable outcomes. You don't present solutions immediately when problems arise. You let the problem develop enough that your boss feels the pain, but not so much that panic clouds their judgment. You don't request resources when budgets are tight. You request them when your boss has just seen the cost of not having adequate resources. You don't propose changes when things are going well. You propose them when current approaches are showing strain, but before they break completely. Because the same suggestion that gets rejected in January becomes brilliant strategy in June. Not because the suggestion changed, because the timing changed. Master the rhythm of organizational readiness. Rule 11. Become the translator of chaos. In every organization there is chaos. In chaos there is opportunity. In opportunity there is power. While others panic about market volatility, you identify the patterns within the volatility. While others complain about organizational change, you decode the logic behind the change. While others fear uncertainty, you translate uncertainty into probability. Your boss doesn't need another person who sees problems. They need someone who sees solutions. They don't need another person who points out risks. They need someone who calculates risk and recommends action. You become their chaos translator, their uncertainty decoder, their complexity simplifier, because whoever makes complexity simple becomes essential. Rule 12. Project confidence. Prepare for failure. Confidence is your public face. Preparation is your private foundation. In meetings, you present ideas with conviction, not arrogance, conviction. The quiet certainty that comes from thorough preparation, careful analysis, and strategic thinking. But behind this confidence, you've war-gamed every scenario. You've prepared for obstacles others haven't considered. You've developed contingency plans for your contingency plans. Your confidence isn't blindness to risk, it's mastery of risk. Your certainty isn't ignorance of variables, it's preparation for variables. Because when others see your confidence and preparation working in harmony, they don't just respect your judgment, they depend on it. Rule 13. Build your legacy. Before your reputation. Reputation is what people say about you. Legacy is what remains when you're gone. You don't chase credit. You chase impact. You don't pursue recognition. You pursue results that create recognition as a byproduct. When your projects succeed, you highlight the team's contribution. When challenges arise, you take responsibility for solutions. When victories come, you share them. When failures happen, you own them. Because everyone remembers who took credit. Everyone trusts who gave credit. Everyone follows who created something larger than themselves. Your legacy becomes your reputation. Your reputation becomes your power. Rule 14. Know when to reveal your hand. The master strategist knows that power isn't just about accumulating influence. It's about knowing when to use it. For 13 rules, you've learned to operate in shadows, to influence without visibility, to guide without obvious control. But there comes a moment, a crucial moment, when strategic revelation becomes necessary, when your boss faces their greatest challenge, when organizational crisis demands clear leadership, when the complexity requires someone to step forward and take charge. That's when you reveal the depth of your preparation, the extent of your network, the true scope of your capabilities. Not before, not to impress, not to prove your worth, but because the situation demands it, because the organization needs it, because the moment has arrived where shadow influence must become visible leadership. This is the final lesson of Machiavelli. Power accumulated in darkness serves its greatest purpose when it illuminates the path forward. The integration. These 14 rules work not as isolated tactics, but as an integrated system of influence. Each rule reinforces the others. Each principle amplifies the whole. Your strategic silence makes your words more powerful. Your systematic thinking makes your independence more valuable. Your careful timing makes your confidence more credible. You become not just an employee, but an advisor. Not just a contributor, but an architect. Not just a worker, but a force. Because at the end, respect isn't given to those who demand it. It's given to those who've earned the right to it through demonstrated wisdom, proven judgment, and consistent results. Machiavelli understood that true power operates through influence, not force. Through preparation, not improvisation. Through systems, not personalities. Your boss will respect you not because you've manipulated them, but because you've made their success easier, their decisions clearer, their challenges more manageable. And that is the essence of Machiavellian power in the modern workplace. The prince may have needed to be feared, but the advisor needs to be essential. Make yourself essential. Everything else follows.